So, no, I wouldn't say I have a passion for HR.
Welcome back to Human Resources for the People. It's a human capital revolution. Today we're going to be answering Ask HR subreddit questions on Reddit because I'm banned. This is a part of a long-running series on this channel going on 2 years where I answer the burning questions that come from the Ask HR subreddit on Reddit. And I'm doing it partially because I find that quite often, well, for one, I'm banned, but for two, I find that quite often really bad information is given. So we've got a misuse of company card out in Texas. We've got a employment drug screen in California, and finally, again in California, we got a coworker vandalizing someone's car. So let's get into it. Let's dig in. So this one is from the perspective of a manager. It seems like, and it says they have a marketer that has a company credit card to buy lunches and treats for physicians. She was asked what a $70 lunch was for since there were no lunches with referring doctors that day, and she lied and said it was for her and a device company's rep. And usually that company buys them lunch. And so this manager is saying, well, is this a fireable offense? I would like to be able to trust that my marketers would be able to use our company credit card. And it says that she's used our card for personal dinners before, saying she didn't have her personal card on her. And I mean, I think the question on that is whether or not she paid it back herself or not. But ultimately, the simple answer to this one is that yes, it is a fireable offense, right? It is fireable to misuse company pay, and frankly, many times, cashiers in the service industry are more likely to be fired for something like this, for much lower amounts than $70. So yes, absolutely, it's fireable. But frankly, it seems like that there's a lot of problems in this manager's house overall. Having this happen previously sort of lends itself to something where you set a standard that you may need to write this person up first, just because it sounds like you haven't provided any guidance for them. But ultimately, but it's the United States and you're at will. Most employees are at will. And when that happens, frankly, anything can be a fireable offense, such as wearing blue sneakers when someone wants you to wear red. The next one up is from California. It says, can an employer make you submit to a pre-employment drug screen when it comes on based on your background check? And so, for example, could they make you submit because they saw a possession charge from 2 years ago on the background check? I mean, no. I mean, yes, they could make you submit. Would they? No. I mean, maybe a small time employer perhaps might do that, but that's not anyone, of any size, any company of any size would not do that because it's out of their, process, out of their scope. There's no reason for that. If they have concern about your employment because of drug screen, they would eliminate you immediately. They wouldn't submit you to a pre-employment drug screen. Now, there's a very good chance that they do that as part of the process, but because you had a pre-employment background check, no, it's very unlikely. Employer could, I suppose, as long as it didn't cause any adverse impact to any particular protected classes, but I really don't think that they'd want to. The next one up is kind of a lesson for many times when this happens. It's from California. It says a coworker vandalized their car. A coworker technically vandalized it. They noticed what appeared to be coffee all over the car, took pictures of the stain, reported the incident to the boss. Security was able to find footage, and eventually the coworker confirmed it. They pushed all that to their boss, and it's been a month since the incident occurred, and nothing has been done. It appears that HR isn't handling a timely manner in this case. So let's address this. First off, if you find it particularly terrible, you should notify the police, and that goes for really anything, right? There's a lot of things that should be notified to the police when they happen at work and not to HR, right? HR is not the policeman and really it shouldn't be involved in some of that. However, if they're breaking the law, right? However, beyond that, you don't know whether or not the company took any action or not. In theory, they could have written the employee up. They're certainly not going to tell you what they did, but a good HR staff will circle back and say, "Hey, we took care of the problem, and if there's anything else that comes about, let me know." It's very unlikely that they would fire an employee for something like this, especially in California. But I suppose it depends on whether or not the employee has had prior events and other things that go around it. But I would imagine, if this is a one-off event, I wouldn't terminate this employee. And so, ultimately, although it could be statutory under the bullying in California. But ultimately, this is an event that they could have handled it in a timely manner. You're just not aware. The employee could have been written up, and you could just not be aware. And that quite often frequently happens. HR will not typically tell you what exactly they did. And that leaves people to be upset. That's why a good HR department would circle back and say, hey, we did X, or we talked to the person, please let us know if there's any more problems. We did our piece, and circle back. Let me know what you think HR should have done in this situation, and leave a comment down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.